Now let me see. Let me see if it's on there.
Oh, I see your face.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to delete the other one so parents know to come over.
Right. Just make that, if you go into the management, that management screen or whatever, just make, you can either just, you can just make it private now.
All right, thanks, Gary.
I see you on.
Yep.
We could probably take the link from this one thing.
I don't think the parents will see it. All right, thanks, Gary.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
So just we type.
All right, so let me go in. I don't want to put the PowerPoint up. I'm gonna have to delete.
Could be in the chat. Do you want me to post it there for the parents, or?
Yeah, because I'm gonna delete it, but I don't know if they can see it. Like, do you see the chat?
Yeah, so Romello, somebody wrote, I wrote something. Are we going to be getting all this information in the email? So do you want to tell me like the web address of this?
Just to go back into the, if they go back into the other channel. I think maybe if I delete it, they'll just go to the other one.
But is it a URL you email them?
Looks like. Or now there's 9 people. Yeah, they made it a little.
Okay, so
It looks good there.
it's backwards.
No, I don't. Hold on. Hi, everyone. This is Kevin Finnerty, Athletic Director. I apologize for the delay, but there was some technical difficulties with the video. This video will be recorded, so if anybody misses it, we'll be able to post it later. So I apologize about that. I'll be very happy to fully be back to normal operations where we can have this orientation in person. Maybe we'll be able to do that next year. But I am very happy and excited to have our camp open again. Last year was a great success. We were able to open camp kind of at the last minute, just before the summer. We had a great camp experience last year. It wasn't the full camp, but this year I'm very happy to offer tennis and our swimming program again, more activities. Our guidelines have loosened, so I believe camp is going to look much more similar to our normal camp. So Christina Driscoll, our camp director, along with a lot of our counselors and supervisors, have put a lot of time in to make sure that your kids are going to have a great experience this summer, and it should be a lot of fun. So without further ado, I'll introduce Ms. Driscoll. She'll go over kind of the camp guidelines questions. If you have a question, you can type it into the chat, and we'll try to answer them at the end of the session. And again, I stated if for some reason somebody didn't catch today's presentation, we'll post it for anybody who missed it probably tomorrow. All right, so thank you and enjoy the presentation. And now, Ms. Driscoll.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Christina Driscoll. For those of you that don't know me, I've been the director of camp. This is actually my 19th year, so I'm very excited to be back. And as Mr. Finnerty said, we are so looking forward to our program. We're happy to report that last year was a very big success, despite all of the guidelines we had to adhere to keep our students and campers safe. But at the same time, we still had a wonderful experience for our campers. So we're delighted that this year things seem to be getting even better. And we're going to review all the guidelines. As Mr. Finnerty said, if you do have any questions, you can certainly follow up by email. We're going to provide the information at the end of the presentation. Additionally, this presentation is also found on our athletics page underneath summer recreation. So you could actually look at all of the slides. So I'm going to go through every single slide. As I mentioned, if you do have questions, you can type them in the chat. Mr. Finnerty will be happy to, and myself will be happy to answer them at the end of the presentation. Okay? Thank you so much for attending tonight. So first and foremost, I'm sure many people are very anxious to hear about the New York State guidelines. We're happy to report that this year, the guidelines, we have gotten update from the governor's office, and the 2021 guidelines are officially published. So if you are interested in looking those up, you can certainly Google that. But the most important things we just want to review are some important changes that we could expect. So first off, in accordance with the updated guidelines, while it is certainly encouraged for campers to wear face coverings while at camp, they do not have to. So that is a personal preference. Their only exception is going to be if you do sign your child up for the full day tennis or swim program, it is going to be necessary to wear the mask on the bus to and from Fort Noble High School. However, other than that, children do not have to wear masks. Now, an exception for that would be for any student entering kindergarten that is signed up for our optional tennis program. Other than that, masks do not have to be worn. Additionally, any staff member who is fully vaccinated is not going to be required to wear a face covering while at camp indoors. Outdoors is not recommended for anybody. Please be sure that you read over your guidelines carefully before we are beginning camp, so that way if you do have any questions, we can certainly follow up with additional information as needed. We're just trying to adjust this to give you a better view of things. As I mentioned, I do realize it's a little bit maybe hard to read, but I am talking you through all of this information, and additionally, this will be posted on the site as well, so you can certainly read through it again following our discussion. So as far as our camp is concerned, the locations are going to be the same as they have been in years past. Our half-day program is going to be run at Mount Elementary School, and our full-day camp is going to be run at Minnesota Elementary School, and groups will have an average size of 15 campers. So we're doing our best to get as close to that number as we possibly can. Also, please understand that students are grouped by elementary school. So we will group based on the elementary school that your child is currently attending. If you do have any additional accommodations that you'd like us to make for you, please be sure to email myself so I can certainly accommodate as many requests as possible. Obviously, we want the students to be with their friends over the summer. As far as the camp dates and hours are concerned, once again, camp will run from July 6th, that's Tuesday, through August 13th. Camp is Monday through Friday, and our half-day program runs from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And our full-day program is going to be run at Minnesota from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. There unfortunately can be no before or after care available this summer, being that the groups have to be separated still with regards to not commingling. So we are going to hold off on that. Hopefully we can have that return next summer. As far as drop-off and pickup is concerned, when you are dropping off in either location, drop-off is going to take place in the bus circle. So if you're going to Mount, you would come through the bus circle beginning at 8:45, and the same thing is true with Minnesota. So that's the front of the building. For pickup, half day is going to run from 12:30 to 1. So we do have a half an hour time frame where you can come get your child. And for full day, pickup is going to run from 3:30 to 4. If you do happen to drop off late or you pick your child up early, we ask that you please report to the side of the building by security. You would have to use your ID to get access so that you can get your child. The security guard would be happy to call us and we can bring your child to the location to pick up early. And if you drop off late, we can certainly have one of our lead counselors or a counselor go to the security area to escort your child to wherever they are throughout the day in camp. As far as drop-off is concerned, we ask that when you are arriving each day, that you please be sure you let your child out curbside. We do have a lane for dropping off and then a lane to the left, which is for passing cars. So it's really much safer if the child gets out curbside. Counselors are going to be lined up according to grade level, and we will have signs clearly identifying where your child should be dropped off each and every day. If you do need to discuss something with your child's counselor or supervisor, we'd ask that you please go through the bus circle and you do park your car for the safety of everybody. That way you can walk over to your child's group and discuss something with your child's counselor. And of course, if it is an urgent matter, you can certainly call the office and we can make arrangements to speak with you as well. As far as pickup is concerned, we are going to once again use our procedures that we followed last year. We call them our inclement weather procedures. So any day where there is weather that is not okay, we would typically do this on any given year. And basically the students would stay inside. And when you arrive each day, you're going to give your name to the person at the front of the gate. And the staff member will radio to the counselors indoors and your child will be brought to your car. The reason for this is because we don't want the groups outside where they could potentially congregate with one another, and we want to try to keep them as distant as possible. So it's usually pretty efficient. We ask that you just understand that sometimes this does take a little bit of patience, but that's also the reason why we do have the half an hour pickup window so that we can ensure we get your child out in a timely fashion. As far as the camp day is concerned, we are happy to provide a variety of activities each day for your campers. So there's very little downtime. The students follow a schedule much like that of an elementary school. You will be provided with a schedule the first week of camp because right now, up until camp begins, we are still in the process of putting those schedules together. But within the first couple of days of camp, you could expect your child's schedule to come home so that at any given point of the day, you know exactly what they're participating in. Please understand that there's not going to be any switching or commingling between groups at any time during the day. So the children that your campers are together with, they're going to remain with throughout the day. They will not be together in large group spaces such as the cafeteria or the gymnasium. Outdoor activities are going to be scheduled once again to the fullest extent possible. And during days of inclement weather, because of the space in the building, it may be necessary for us to do in-classroom activities such as age-appropriate movies or other safe classroom activities if space does become an issue. And specials are, like last year, going to be staggered slightly so that we could account for proper sanitation in between each group being there, so that we were able to wipe down any materials that are used, so nothing is going to be touched that wasn't properly cleaned. As far as the typical camp day, this year we're happy to provide the following offerings. We are going to offer sports and outdoor games that will be provided by a instructor. So students are going to be given a certain activity, and the activities do vary from day to day, so it's not always the same thing. Sometimes the children are able to vote as a group on what they'd like to play on Fun Friday or another day. But other than that, we do have a variety of activities. So if your child isn't interested in one, they likely will be interested in something else throughout the week. We also are going to be providing art once again at both camps. That is brought to you by an art instructor who will give a certain project to be completed on an everyday basis when your child does attend. We are able to offer this year library at our half-day program. We have dance once again at both half-day and full-day. We are offering mindfulness with our mindfulness instructor, where the students take place in a variety of stress management activities. They do go outside, they do a lot of things with regards to nature walks. So they see memory, which is unfortunately only offered at our full day program, but that is a science course where students will participate in a variety of activities. And we will have sprinklers at both sites, as well as our playground up and running. Please understand that anything that your child is handling is certainly going to be sterilized and cleaned in between each use. But as like last year, if you're interested in sending your child in with their own supplies, you can certainly put them in a labeled container. We will be sure that it's brought to places where they might be needed, such as art or, for instance, science, if they are attending that. And as I said before, all schedules will be sent home the first week, so you know exactly where your child will be. If you are a full day parent and your child is signed up for our optional full day tennis program, we are offering this currently this year to grades kindergarten through 7, and the program is optional. So if you would like your child signed up, you can certainly sign them up. If you do not want your child signed up, your child would stay back at camp and follow the schedule that they typically would follow. They will be back at camp with one of their counselors that they're familiar with, if they do choose to stay back. And we do get a handful of kids that stay back, so they certainly won't be alone, most likely. And as we mentioned before, as per the New York State guidelines, with the exception of entering kindergartners, any child that is taking the bus toward Mobile High School would have to wear a face covering only during that time. And when they're at tennis, they're going to be taking part in a variety of activities and different, tennis-related things with the lead instructor. However, please understand that no private instruction or lessons are provided for children. So it's really a foundational introduction to the tennis skills and different fun games that the children can have. And hopefully, for many students we found in the past, it helps to forge a new interest for them, something that they might want to pursue outside of camp. As with our full day swim program, once again, this is going to be offered this year to our campers in 1st grade through 7th grade. And this is optional as well. So any child that is going to not attend the swim program will stay back at camp with whatever children are remaining, as well as one of their counselors that they're familiar with. As I mentioned with tennis, if a child is attending, they will need to wear a face covering on the bus to and from Ward Melville High School only. And they are going to be accompanied not only by some of their counselors, but we also have lead counselors that attend swimming as well as tennis. And there is a lifeguard and a whole pool staff that is at Ward Mobile High School. So they're there to monitor your children's safety. At the beginning of camp, the supervisor for the pool is going to deem your child's swimming level. And if it's noted that the supervisor feels the child would be in need of any extra support, they would have to wear a life vest that is provided by the district in the swimming pool. Any student that is participating in swimming, once again, you will receive that schedule as well the first week of camp. And please understand that our availability at the pool is limited to times when community swim is not taking place. So we do our best to get the children there as much as possible. We tend to focus, if we are able to do a little bit more, on the older grade levels, because the younger children are more likely to also take advantage of the sprinklers during the summer, whereas the older children are not. But again, that's based on the availability of the swimming pool. So we do our best to offer it as much as humanly possible. Any student that is participating in swim, we ask that they do have their bathing suit on that day, so it's easier to get them to Ward Mobile High School and they have the ultimate amount of time swimming. And then they will be able to change in the locker room with a limited amount of people to allow for social distancing. So they're able to change prior to getting back on the bus to go back to camp. And just understand, please, as well, that with swimming, it's not lessons or instruction. It's simply a free swim around the pool just for some enjoyment and something a little bit different. As far as the camp guidelines, we ask that each day you please send your child in with the following: sneakers, So students must wear sneakers to participate in 90% of the events at camp. It's really important for their safety that they're wearing proper footwear. If you don't want to have them wear sneakers, if they do wear some sort of sandal, please be sure that it's secure to their foot so it doesn't go, flying off if they're participating in sports, or if they're playing outside. If they are going to be going in the sprinklers, you may want to send them in with water shoes or Crocs or something so that way they're able to participate. They're not allowed to go into the sprinkler barefoot. So that's of course for the safety from bees as well as things that could possibly be on the ground like twigs or rocks. So they would need to wear something on their feet running through the sprinkler. And please send in a bathing suit and a towel as well in their book bag or backpack each day so that they have it ready to go. Once again, however, you will have the schedule, so you're going to know exactly when your child is attending sprinklers and or the pool. Also, you do want to send a snack in, either no matter what camp you're attending. The children at half day will eat snack, and the children at full day, you also want to accompany their snack with a lunch as well. And definitely plenty of drinks in a labeled bag. If you put your child's name, their grade, and group name, if it does get misplaced, we're able to give it back to the child. Additionally, you may want to send in a reusable water bottle that is clearly labeled with your child's name. We will not be utilizing the water jugs outside, so your child will have the ability to refill their water at one of the fountains inside of the school building throughout the entire day. And if they are in need of extra water or they do need to refill it, please encourage them to ask their counselors so that they can get that filled up and stay well hydrated. Please do not send your children into camp with any toys or anything that could be shared with others. Of course, we want to keep camp as safe as possible for the children. Additionally, we don't want things being shared that we can't monitor and sanitize properly. So if they could just keep any personal objects at home, that would be helpful. We are going to once again adhere to sports with minimal contact like we did last year. So we're going to stick to things like soccer, wiffle ball, kickball, where the children would have very minimal contact with one another as far as touching. Please note that there will be no food available on site once again. So please be sure to send your child in with sufficient snacks and food for the day. We don't have any availability in the cafeteria to distribute anything. So you may want to send extra snacks in case your child is hungry. We do have one set snack time as well as a lunchtime at full day and one set snack time at half day. But at any other time, if your child requires a little bit of sustenance and they do need additional snacks, they can certainly have that at another time throughout the day. Students' work desks will be properly sanitized and distanced as they were last year. There will be no shields on the desks, so they are going to just be standard desks, but they're going to be separated from one another a bit. And in accordance, again, with the updated guidelines, as I stated before, masks, while encouraged, are not essential. It really is up to your personal preference. And any staff member who is fully vaccinated will not be required to wear a face covering. As far as hygiene is concerned, staff members will again be required to ask children regularly to wash their hands before and after activities, to utilize the hand sanitizers that are provided in the classroom as well as throughout the buildings. If your child is signed up for the optional tennis and swim program, one other thing is please do send them in with that face covering. If they don't have one, we certainly can provide one for them. Please note that classroom bathrooms are, whenever possible, going to be utilized. We do have the custodians going around as they did in the past, sanitizing throughout the day and cleaning all of the workspaces for us. Our special areas, instructors do clean all of their supplies, so the sporting equipment is clean, as well as the art supplies, as well as anything in our science lab that children would come in contact with. As far as health screenings are concerned, we are, as always, going to remind our staff to stay home if they're not feeling well, and we're also going to ask that you please keep your children home if they're not feeling well also. And in order to keep things consistent with the school year, we are going to be sending every day through email the health screening that you have been completing throughout the year. So it's the same procedures as with the school year. You will not be asked by a supervisor at drop-off the question as you were last year. So it's going to be the same exact policy and procedure. If you could please fill that out prior to having your child be dropped off, that would be really helpful for us. And all of the responses are going to be reviewed and documented as of now. As Mr. Finnerty mentioned at the beginning as well, if anything does happen to change, we will certainly update you. But as of now, these are the current guidelines we're sticking with. As far as first aid is concerned, we do have a registered nurse on both sites throughout the entire day. Please be sure that you speak with your children about the importance of going to see the nurse if they're not feeling well, if they have any sort of injury. Sometimes we find that children are having so much fun that oftentimes they won't report injuries to their counselors. So we'd rather, of course, have them taken and get assessed prior to there actually being a concern that is more serious. So please definitely encourage them, if they're playing, if something hurts, if something doesn't feel right, to definitely let their counselors know. And you will certainly be notified of any serious illness or injury as per our nurse's judgment. So they're going to certainly call the things that they deem they'd like you to know immediately. Other things, however, they may wait until pick up if it's something minor, and your counselor would let you know. But that is really up to the judgment of the medical personnel. If you do happen to have any concerns about your child, we ask that you definitely notify us as soon as you can. Our nurse will be on site early the first day at both areas, and you can drop off any medications that you do have and let us know of any special considerations that you have for your child so we can ensure their health and safety. As far as contact information for our athletics office, we ask that if you do have questions regarding assistance with registration, you can call 730-4980. That would have to do with final forms, with payment, with My School Bucks, and the emails are on the screen as well. So that will be again posted after this meeting. So you can have the emails for Ms. Wiltsey and Ms. Romano, who are our athletic office secretaries. If you do have any general camp inquiries about, groupings, about a certain concern that you have, anything related to the daily operations of camp, I'd ask that you please contact me. At email would be best because I'm split between buildings, so it would be harder for me to get a voicemail message. So if you would email me at CERISCOL@3villagecsd.org, I can certainly help you and answer any questions you have prior to camp. So that would be the fastest route of getting information. Now, with that said, we appreciate you joining us and we appreciate your patience with us getting started. As Mr. Finnerty mentioned, we did have some technical difficulties, but we're glad that we were able to bring this presentation to you and get you settled before camp begins. So if you do have any questions, please be sure to type them into the chat and we'll answer them prior to us going. And as I said, if you do have any questions that you think of after the fact and you would like some more information, you can certainly reach out. This YouTube link will be posted tomorrow, as well as the PowerPoint, which is already on the site if you wish to review it. As I said, I know it was a little hard to see. So with that said, any questions we will be happy to answer.
Ms. Driscoll, the first question is, what is the age for swimming and the protocols for the swimming pool?
Okay, I'll join you on this side. So first off, the ages for our swimming program are students entering first grade all the way up through seventh grade. I forgot to mention this before, but being that we can unfortunately not offer our travel camp this year, we did open up our summer recreation program as we did last year to students entering seventh grade. So we do have a bunch of those. That is something that is part of the swimming pool guidelines based on our supervisor. Her name is Ms. Ferrara. And if you do have any questions, I can certainly get you her information as well. She'd be more likely able to answer any questions you have about the operations of the pool since she's the supervisor that's the head there. So as far as it goes with regards to safety, as I said, Ms. Ferrara, the first day the students get to camp, she does a quick assessment, and in her experience, she determines if the children can swim with ease and if they do need extra assistance. The children that are in the primary grades, oftentimes they do have to wear the life vests just for the safety of the students, but the students that are in the intermediate level, oftentimes, depending upon the test that they take and the assessment that is done, they're able to, if they're strong swimmers, swim without the life vest that is provided by the district. So if you do have any questions, I will certainly put, as a matter of fact, after this session, I'll add her email address to the PowerPoint for you so that you can access that if you have specific questions about how it's run. But as I said, we have plenty of supervision there. Not only do they have the supervisor for swimming, but they have the lead supervisors that are only for the swimming pool, as well as our lead counselors and our counselors as well. So there's plenty of adults there that are on task, as well as a lifeguard. So in case there's any sort of issues.
We'll just review. The only time students have to wear a mask is on the bus, and the swimmers will be distanced as much as they can during swim and encouraged to come prepared to swim. And when they need to change, there'll be only a few students allowed in the locker room at a time. The next question is, when will parents know their group numbers for students?
So basically what happens is that our supervisors on site, Ms. Sahapa Vitberg, she's our full day supervisor, and Mr. Dion, as well as our half day supervisor, Ms. Shea. They have been given all of the camper information and they're in the midst of grouping the children. As I said before, the children are grouped based upon the elementary school that attend because we don't have any knowledge of the children and their, personal connections. If there is a specific student, perhaps that doesn't go to your child's home elementary school that you'd like to see in their group, you can certainly email your request to me, and I'd be happy to try to take care of that for you. And you will know by the first day. So when you do drop off, when you pull up to, let's say if your child's in first grade, if you pull up to the big number 1 that's going to be posted, we're going to ask your child's name. We're going to have some counselors outside, and it depends upon how many children per grade are enrolled. So I do happen to know that we have certain groups that are very large. So for instance, we have 4 third grade groups that are full day program because there's that many third graders that are coming to camp. So they're basically broken up. We call them colors. So there's like third grade yellow group, a third grade green group, a third grade white group, and a third grade orange group. And your child will be told what color group they're in. And again, they're going to be grouped based upon the elementary school they attend. So for instance, let's say your child goes to Minnesota, they would likely be with all Minnesota kids.
Next question is, will we provide rackets for the tennis program?
Yes, every single piece of material that your child needs, with the exception of optional things that you could send in, such as your own art supplies, if that was something you'd be wanting to do. Every single thing is provided on site from the camp, including the tennis rackets, tennis balls, all of the art supplies, everything else. If we do have a need for anything, and in one of our programs, we would send home a letter. Sometimes, for instance, the science discovery instructor will ask for you to send in a water bottle that's empty. Maybe they're making a certain project out of it. But other than that, anything else is provided by our camp.
A parent missed the beginning, just asking about drop off and pick up.
Yes, this year we're not going to do our staggered drop off and pickup like we did last year. That won't be necessary. So basically at 8:45, no matter what camp your child is going to, whether it's full day or half day, you would go through the bus circle. There are going to be counselors outside as well as supervisors with a big number, and you would pull up to the number of the grade your child's entering, and you drop your child off. If you do wish to speak to a counselor or supervisor about any concerns, we ask that you do speak. Other than that, it's pretty simplified drop off and pickup. It goes pretty smoothly. So the counselors assist in getting your child and their bag out of the car. They walk them into the classroom, and then that would be it.
When the kids have swim days or sprinkler days, should they come to camp ready in their bathing suits, under their clothes, or should they wear regular clothes and change?
We do ask on the days that your child is going to be swimming and going into the sprinkler that you do have the bathing suit worn underneath their clothing. It's just a little bit easier. It allows for more time at the activity. After camp, your child will be sent into a private bathroom stall so that they can change out of their clothing to go back to the camp. Or if they're at the actual site, they can go back to their classroom and they would be able to get changed for the rest of the day.
Will counselors be allowed to reapply sunscreen during the day?
Counselors do not reapply sunscreen. We do have the counselors remind children to reapply the sunscreen themselves. If there is a reason why they would need assistance, we do have them brought down to the nurse, so our medical professional could certainly assist them, but at no time are the counselors going to be touching children or reapplying sunscreen.
My son's in the full-time camp. Is there anything special that needs to be done if I want to pick him up early? A number to call?
Yes, we are actually, I'm also not only going to post Ms. Ferrara's number and information, she's the swim instructor, but I will also post the camp numbers. We obviously use the school building, so we finalize our maps for the summer. So I will be able to provide you with the camp office and the numbers that you could call for early pickup and drop off. Also sending a note in with your child. If it's like an everyday thing, if it's a Tuesday, Thursday thing, if you just write down when you're going to be picking up your child, we'll have every day, we'll have them ready and brought down to security. So it makes the transition easier for you.
Should they bring their own bottles of sunscreen with them?
Yes, please do provide your own sunscreen. Due to allergies and other considerations, the district does not provide sunscreen. So you would send in whatever it is you want your child wearing, and just write their name on it would be really helpful. And that could be in their backpack. And as I said, we remind the counselors regularly to remind the children to reapply sunscreen. So there is a time where the children do go outside. We go outside to put it on in case there's spray, or they can certainly put it on in the bathroom, in the classroom, but we do have plenty of reminders throughout the day for them.
What if the incoming kindergarten child needs help changing out of the swimsuit?
Once again, if the child does need help changing out of the swimsuit, we do have our lead counselors, and we do have a nurse as well at the swimming and tennis program. So the nurse could certainly assist if that was an issue of getting out of the swimsuit.
Are there specific days for medication drop-off to the nurse's office? Like an EpiPen?
No, the first day of camp, we would appreciate if you could certainly bring that with you. And we will have the nurse actually comes outside the first day of camp, so you can meet with the nurse, you could discuss any concerns you have. They would then take the medicine inside and put it in the secure area for the summer. Oh,
That's the last
something
question.
with bug spray. I see a question about bug spray, and the answer is, once again, if that's something you'd like for them to do, for sure. Please just be sure to let a supervisor or your counselor know your wishes so that they could remind your child of reapplying bug spray.
I think that's it for the questions.
I think that's
Okay. I think that's it for the questions. Again, apologize for the late start, a little technical difficulty, but I'm glad we were able to present. If for some reason any of your friends, family missed the presentation, it will be posted online either tonight or tomorrow, along with the Ms. Driscoll's presentation. And if you have any questions, you can always call the athletic office at 631-730-4980 or email Ms. Driscoll and we'll be able to assist. Someone just asked, will you be getting this information by email? We'll post this all online. So this presentation, Ms. Driscoll's presentation and guidelines, and this YouTube video will be posted on the athletic website under recreation. That's where you can find all the camp information. I think there's one more question for meds. Do I need to have another medication authorization form filled out, or is the one from the school currently sufficient? I believe the school one is, the school one is sufficient. One more question. How can we add different people to pick up?
If the person is not listed on final forms, you can certainly go back in and you can add them. So there's an emergency contact area. If it's another parent that's going to be picking up your child and they're not listed, you could always also give us the information and we can make a note for you. So you could write a note for the first day of camp and send it in with us. If it's a babysitter, if it's a neighbor or somebody else, please understand anybody who's picking up your child, aside from the people that we do have information for, if it's not a parent or guardian, they will likely be ID'd for sure. So they need to be sure they bring proper identification.
So once again, we're very excited. It's great to get our kids back to normal, no masks, outdoor activities, swimming, tennis. So the camp is going to look very close to what it normally does, while still, following the guidelines and being safe and, doing our best to make sure our kids stay healthy and active this summer. So we will end the presentation. We have one more question. My daughter is in the half-day program. Can I upgrade her to the full day? Please call the office tomorrow with that question, and we'll be able to help answer that. Which form needs to be updated for the in-person pickup? That's the final forms, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can just go into your final forms and update that. Again, if you need help with the final forms and have a question, just call the office, and my secretaries, Mary or Stephanie, will be able to help you. So I think we're going to end the presentation now. Again, you can call the office, 631-730-4980 with any questions, or email Ms. Driscoll. And once again, all this information will be posted on the website. And we look forward to having a great summer with your kids. And thank you for trusting us with them. And they are in great hands. So thank you very much. Have a great night. Take care.
Thank you.